Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Today, guys, we are taking a look at Legacy Iguanus. So, starting off with our little bit of our look of our guy here, you can see that in vehicle mode, he actually sits upright on his tires because they are mostly flat. Now, on a surface that maybe isn't entirely even, it's a little bit harder, but that is kind of a cool deal that he can actually remain in an upright position. Now, everybody has been quick to point out this weapon that you do need Rodimus and Sky Warps to complete this Mega Sword. And I have to admit, on its own, I feel it's a little bit weak. I mean, yes, this does make handlebars, and that kind of is interesting, but the weapon itself overall is kind of lackluster, as we'll see in robot mode, which I think if we go ahead and add a little bit of a something to it, that kind of adds a little bit more gravitas to it, which I think is kind of cool. However, it does not mean that Iguanus could not have anybody ride him, because as you can see right here, Dracodon is doing just so. Which is ironic because Dracodon seems to work really extremely well with Iguanus, especially considering how well that his green legs can kind of tuck into that little alcove on the sides of what will become Iguanus' torso. It just kind of makes it have like a really kind of cool look. Like, I don't know why a Maximal and a Decepticon would be teaming up. I do kind of like just the overall goofiness of this, but at the same time, it does kind of look cool too. So when we actually start looking at some of the details of Iguanus' motorcycle mode, it is interesting knowing that his robot mode was designed off of his Pretender shell, but they went with the interior robot's alt mode. So it does kind of have more of an animal aesthetic mixed in with the overall vehicle mode, which is very reminiscent of the Transmetals, because while they were actually more of an animal with vehicle elements on it, you can see that there is kind of a similar aesthetic between the two, especially when you look at ones like Rat Trap and the one that Iguanus is actually a little bit closer to, because here's Transmetal Tarantulas in his motorcycle mode, which, gotta throw this little deal in here, is if you guys have noticed the new image releases for Tarantulas, they actually reference this little saw blade weapon that doubles as the front wheel of his third transport mode. In any case, I find it funny that a core class figure is actually one of the ones that I have enjoyed the most recently out of Wave 1. So, without a further ado, guys, let's look at his robot mode. And doesn't our boy look pretty gnarly? You know what's funny is I bring this up again because when you really think about it, doesn't our boy kind of look like a Transmetal Predacon that could kind of slot right in with Megatron and the other ones from the Beast Wars? Because a lot of the guys that were Transmetals had bestial elements that were pretty predominant in their robot mode, with, again, vehicle bits, kind of like how he's rocking the similar thing that Rat Trap had with the wheels on the shoulders / back. And I know that he's a Decepticon, but you know, I got repro labels, so if I wanted to use him like that, I probably totally could. Which, as you can see right here, he does look pretty awesome battling the Maximals Rev and Dracodon, and actually putting up a pretty good fight, to be honest. So I'm definitely digging that. However, we saw what he looked like with the Dragon Megatron, but how does he stack up with the other Kingdom class Megatron? And, you know, yes, the styles are dramatically different, and I'm not sure exactly they go together, but if you wanted to keep all your core class baddies as like a separate display, instead of intermingling them with, you know, boys of the more standard tier size, then I could see why you would do that. And look at some of this. I mean, this boy is extremely posable. I love just kind of the very, I mean, if you want to look at it another way, it's kind of Predator-esque detailing, plus the way that the head is sculpted, and I do love that detail on the back. As we can see, that actually totally lines up with how his box art depicts him, which I did not know he has laser eyes. Like, initially I thought, oh wait, the weapon's glowing too. Is he like scanning the weapon or something? And then I saw, no, the beams are actually going over it. So our boy has laser eyes like Superman. That's kind of interesting. Yes. Oh man, and despite the fact that his guns are this Which brings another point is, yeah, again, I'm not too crazy about this. And so you have to kind of use this thing as an adapter like we saw earlier. So overall, just a minor nitpick, but I mean, there's more positives than to like the one or two negatives about this guy. So whether you want to kind of go outside the color lines and use him as some sort of Beast Wars Iguanus, or if you want to use him as who he's intended to be, the G1 Iguanus, I think that this guy has been a surprise hit for me, especially considering that the core class I always thought were kind of cool. They had like a niche little thing that was going for them, but Iguanus has totally been like, no, I can rock with the bigger boys and I'm doing my own thing. So he has been a lot of fun to mess with. And anyway, guys, I hope you really enjoyed our look at the core class Legacy Iguanus. And until next time, guys, we'll see you in another review.
By the pits you live!
I am not so easily destroyed. And thanks to your treachery, my power is greater than ever. Let me thank you.
Oh no!